What's going on, everybody? Tom Quiet from Live and Amplified. I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing day. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that is in America that celebrates Thanksgiving. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday, enjoying food, fun, family, all that great stuff. Today isn't really a reacts video. It's more of a recap video of the Musician Mansion series, because I think it's been kind of misconstrued that I was talking a lot of shit about the series, or that I didn't like the series, or I had issues with the series. And to some degree, I did have a little bit of an issue with the series, but it's not the idea in general, because I really think the show was amazing, like in concept, and has a lot of legs to stand on. And when I say I had an issue with the series, it's nothing more than some of the storylines that unfolded and some of the challenges or the events that kind of happened. It's nothing about the show. I think Jared Dines is a genius for coming up with this and really taking a chance on something that may work, may not work. But I think some of it just was he kind of ran out of ideas, maybe, or the budget wouldn't call for it, or, like whatever it was. Because I know how it is when you're coming up with an idea for a video and it's like, okay, all these ideas are great. And then you got to try and figure out how to pay for it all. And it's like, well, crap, the budget, it's like the budget. And so I completely understand that, but I wanted to jump on here and do like a recap video about the entire series and give my fully fleshed out thoughts of what's going on and what happened, how it unfolded, because obviously reacting to the videos in a real-time scenario, I'm not filtering what I say, and I never really do, but in my head, it is the like raw, in the moment feeling, and I don't really have time to digest what's going on, if that makes any kind of sense. So I thought it was important to kind of come up here and do a full recap of the entire series from beginning to end, and just kind of give my thoughts and my thoughts and opinions for whatever it's worth. So, in general, if I were to give the show a A to an F, or F to A, however you want to word it, I'd give the show a solid B. Really good show. The idea was there. The musicians were all cool cast of characters. You had Sunfire. You just had like all these different people, and the initial question of, are all these people going to survive in a house together? Is there going to be drama? Is there going to be issues? Is there not? And for the most part, I know musicians are pretty chill about a lot of things, and they kind of adapt and just kind of deal with whatever issues in their own way. So that concept I had no issue with. The where I started to have an issue, and it wasn't even that big of an issue, was in the first episode when they just assigned the teams and made it seem like, okay, Jared's putting these teams together. That seemed a little premeditated, in my opinion. I thought what might be cool, and this would go without having to change the complete format of the show, the challenges that they did in episode 3, like all the bouncy ball deal and the smashing the guitar and all that stuff. Had they done something like that in episode 1, where the top 3 point getters, or the three individuals who got the most points, or however you wanted to do it, they became the team captains, and then they got to draft their team or their band. They got to pick their band. I think that would have been an interesting way to build out a first show. So you're not throwing away any ideas at this point, and you're building out a show. You're building interest, because it makes it look like the bands are actually drafting their own team and not Jared just kind of saying, okay, I want to put these 5 together because I think they'd be a cool band, or whatever. I think that would draw a little bit more interest and a little bit more dedication to the band, where you had a standalone band leader that won a challenge, and he or she or they got to pick their band. That's like the big overarching thing. Is it seemed like the bands were just kind of predetermined and that they were together for a reason. So that was my first thing. The actual first challenge that they did was write a song. That was cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't really agree with who won at the time, and having gone back to listen, I get it. Having watched the first episode a couple of more times since then, one way or the other, it didn't really matter. Like, they were all really good, and it just kind of came down to who, A, preferences probably, and B, who had the most complete song. So, first episode, or the first official challenge, I still think Sky Limit should have won, but that's just my personal opinion. And then doing the music video challenge, that was cool. Really enjoyed that. Just kind of watching the creative process unfold. And then actually one of my favorite episodes, even though I didn't like some of the angles or drama or whatever kind of unfold, was the music video, or not the music video, the busking episode, because I just thought that was really cool. Like, sending out a band to busk and, just be musicians, go out and perform, busk, do your thing. And, I thought that was a really cool, like, a team building thing, B, to kind of really show your musicianship. The only thing I may have changed on that one was, instead of just sending them out with one broad brushstroke of a goal, which was to see who could make the most money busking, was maybe adding like micro goals. You have to hit like these 3 points, or you have to do these 3 or 4 like side goals, get somebody to sing with you, get somebody to, just like different little side goals that would have kept it a little bit more interesting throughout the entire show, or through the entire episode. Because there was a point there where I kind of was like, okay, all right, I don't really know who's where, who's winning. Like, yeah, I'm not really invested in this. It's entertaining, it's funny, but at this point, I don't know like who's winning. I don't know how they're keeping track. And it was just like, it kind of took me out of the moment for a little bit. But that's a side note. So like for that one, and then so those were the 3 main episodes were cool, and the 3 like music based episodes I had no problems with. They were great, perfect. I dig it. And I think that challenge episode, that would have been episode number 3, had you moved it to the first episode and turned it into a way to pick out the teams and, all that stuff, that would have been the perfect position for it. It would have made sense. Maybe make the challenges a little bit more music themed. Cool. The episode that I had the biggest issue with, and I say the biggest, like, it's not even really that big of a deal because I get what you were going for, was the final episode, because it seemed very anticlimactic. And having talked to a few people that were participating in the show, either on the production end or as musicians, as contestants, I understand, as on a personal note, they wanted to use that day to just kind of chill, hang out, and do, get to work together, jam, all that fun stuff. Then I would have just made that the episode. Like, get video of them chilling, jamming, and whatnot. And instead of doing a roast battle, I would have just had them do like a live show or something. And it just like turned it into a party, into a concert, into a something. Like, these 3 bands, they come in, they play, Jared announces the winner, however, it would have been. Cool. That's great. But that's, I just, while the stand-up comedy and the roast session was funny and it had its moments of humor, my main issue was I feel like some of them were taking personal jabs at people that maybe they didn't necessarily get along with, or, I felt like there were some personal jabs that were getting thrown in there. And then there was also some real insider stuff. Like, you had to be invested in this independent YouTube music community of independent musicians that are producing content for YouTube. I feel like there were some really insider jokes that were just kind of like, I'm sure that's funny, but I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know. So I guess that was kind of my main issue with the final episode, was just, I felt like it just narrowed in too much on, like a niche audience, right? So that's why when I say, had they turned it more into like a montage and showing the people jamming and having a good time and preparing like preparing for like a show and letting musicians be musicians the day of a show, feel like that would have been a really cool, like, little nod to the ending. And then Jared could kind of come in and announce a winner. Cool, great. I love it. And then the other thing that was kind of weird was each day somebody wins a cash prize. Like, I feel like maybe it should have been an all or nothing situation. And I feel like that would have been, like, each day counted towards points for the final prize. And I think that might have been not the worst way to go, but, it's hard. And I understand that it's hard when you're trying to do something in a small time frame of 5, 6, 7 days, like whatever it is. Trying to work out a game show or a long arching series isn't always the easiest. And that's just a matter of Jared and his team and his people. And I know some of them are watching, but it's just kind of a matter of them to sit down and figure out, okay, where do we make these changes? I get that. That's cool. That's fair. So these are just like my overarching thoughts of the series. I really enjoyed the series, minus a couple of minor little things that were just kind of like, I could have done without that. But, it's really cool that Jared took this opportunity. It's really cool that he put it all out there. He's already announced a season 2. I'm excited to see what changes he makes, because I know, having talked to a couple of people, he's paying attention to the stuff that's being said and the issues people had, and season 2 is going to be different than season 1. Now, that being said, I hope season 2 doesn't change so drastically that it's not the same kind of DIY feel. Like, I think the series in and of itself was great, right? Great. The characters were cool. The band, the musicians that you brought in, I think they kind of worked well together and made for an interesting moment. But had you kind of let them kind of put their teams together, I think that would have set it up for a longer success for the most part. And then kind of going back to what I was saying before, kind of in season 2, I really hope he doesn't change like the feel. Like, I really like the DIY feel. I like the team that he brought in. They shot it really well, but just kind of some minor, like, little structural changes to, how the show was laid out. And, like, even if it was something as small as taking that challenge day on day 3 and moving it to day 1 to kind of, make it people a little bit more invested in the teams, I think that would change the entire dynamics of the show. it's because at the end of the day, it's a musician show. And Jared said a couple of different times throughout the series when people would ask him, hey, why are we doing this? It's for the content. And I get that. I 100% get that. I do stuff all the time for the content. And it doesn't mean I like it, but, sometimes you just got to do shit for the content, right? So these are just my overarching thoughts. I hope you guys don't take it too seriously. Hopefully I didn't super offend anyone, because I happen to be very straightforward with my words, and I don't really mince words around too much. And I've been reading the comments. I've seen what people are saying, and it feels like some people are just really offended by some of the shit that I say, and that's unfortunate, because that's not the angle that it comes from. I don't come to intimidate. I don't come to, offend people. I come from an angle of trying to improve the music community as a whole, trying to improve content production as a whole, and just give ideas. Doesn't mean my words and my ideas are gospel. It just means these are what I think will work better as a whole to improve the experience. Take them for what it's worth. If you like some of the ideas, you don't like some of the ideas, hey, look, you ain't gonna offend me. I don't give a shit. So, yeah, I'm gonna be here for season 2, and can't wait to see who he comes up with. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not really in the YouTube music scene like that, the rock scene of YouTube creators that are rock musicians. I'm not really in the scene. So I really wouldn't even know who to tell you to get. So I'll just kind of leave that to y'all, because you've been in the community of making rock music content for a while. And yeah, until somebody calls me and says, hey, stop doing it, I'm going to keep reacting to your shit, because at the end of the day, it entertains me. Your content entertains me. So that's the wrap up for today. Can't wait for Musician Mansion Season 2. See y'all later. Have a great day. Have a great Thanksgiving. Like, subscribe, all that fun shit. See you guys later.